Hello, 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 Libra, 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 Libra. I hope everything is going well for you in this December as I'm reading, and you may be watching, but these readings are for the year 2023, as I always do in the month of December for the following year. And what I'm going to do is first take, you see this huge deck of cards, which is the Lemurian Starchild Oracle, the Lemurian Starchild Oracle of 90 over 90 cards. And I'm going to choose one, we'll read it together, and then I'll tell you what is coming to me for you, and then we'll go on to the other parts of the reading. We have here the family of light. The family of light. Signs, guidance, innate and ancient wisdom. This is quite an interesting card for you, Libra, because it does point to an extended family, and it does point to a family that is of another realm. Libra, it's time, it's time now to step down from all of those duties that you have, not that you have to give up because they might represent your livelihood, but here I'm seeing that your responsibility needs to shift towards a realm that is more spiritual in nature, but also involves how you interact with other people, Libra, how you actually extend yourself to other people. The spiritual realm is all about love and all about extending your love unconditionally. Here it talks about receiving guidance. And innate wisdom, innate and ancient wisdom, meaning that there is a disjointed nature to you in many respects, the most important being that you're cruising, and you're cruising on a more superficial level. Let's go to the reading and see what that has to help us with, has to tell us. Libra, I have here another oracle deck which is called the Lenormand deck, and the Lenormand deck was created, well, it is said that it was created by Madame Lenormand in France, but Germany has also laid claim to the deck, and there are two different styles of creating the deck. One is this with a large I say two, there are so many different artists, but more or less this was the divide. The large image on the card, and the other smaller images that are proffered on the card with a lot of very small writing, and that is the original deck created in France. Let's see. Now, this is a deck of 36 cards, and a grand tableau would be the 36 cards all laid out, but I've cut out, this is of my own doing, I cut out a certain portion of the spread in order for me to create these yearly readings. So I'm laying down the cards, and they're all falling on a certain house, and we'll talk about that. Now just let me take a moment to Libra to 8 and okay. Now, first I'm going to go to and discuss the different trimesters. January, February, and March will be the first. January, February, and March. Look, Libra, you come in ready for love. You come in actually celebrating love in the beginning of the year 2023 in a very much mature way and in a spiritual way. Just on the tails of what I was saying here, trying to close that ring, trying to close that gap. It's quite interesting for me to see, because it's the first thing, the first card that comes out that tells me, that announces, well, here it is. The interesting part of the second trimester, April, May, and June, is that there's a sort of a dialogue that you have within yourself of, and it goes something like this. Okay, do I go to the chapel and I get married and I, that kind of dialogue? Or shall we just put up home? Shall we put up home? Or for those of you who are already in a relationship, a very long relationship, there is the opposite being thought. Is it time for me to get my stability by just putting up my boundaries and going back to the real me, going back to the real me home, my home as I see it? Then the third trimester, July, August, and September, we've got a situation. No, not really a situation, but there is an expansion outward. You start taking care of business in terms of your health. Your health is of prime importance. That's what your focus is in the third trimester, July, August, and September. A lot of surprises crop up, but even if the relationship that you've had, the relationship that you have, there may be a sort of another party coming in. You may start being jealous, even if that other party is not really a thing, but you have it there like a specter. You have an overall sense of security, and this is what saves you in the months July, August, and September, that third trimester. Then the last trimester, October, November, and December, we've got interesting, and I'm choosing my words carefully because I see here a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, a lot of communication. The entire time is talking about communication back, forth, and it has to do with finance. It has to do with your money coming in. It has to do with some kind of, I don't want to say windfall, but it's pretty close. It is something that you did expect. You knew that sooner or later it was going to become, but there is also an indication of arguments around that, and legal documents being sent left and right. Interesting. Now, let's go to each individual domain of your life, each house that I mentioned before. Now, the house that involves endings and beginnings, there is in your life a male figure, whether you're a female or a male, there's a male figure that is prominent for you, both when something ends and when something begins. It could be a confidant, it could be a parent, could be a sibling, could be a friend, or it could be that person, or it is someone who legally supports you for any kind of change. And I say this because the surprises do arise concerning institutions. Now, I don't see this as being any kind of hospital business or school, university, that kind. I'm seeing it as powers that are higher institutions in relation to courts, municipalities, somewhere where they print documentation of birth certificates, things like that. Then these are surprises. Things will keep coming up where you're going to have to go back to those offices. Then an ending. For you, Libra, there are a few endings. One, there's an ending to no longer taking care of your health. No, that will stay in 222. You're getting serious about your health. And the other ending is that someone you know stops taking care of their health, and that causes you concern. That causes you concern. In terms of oral communication in the year 2023, ladies and gentlemen, Libra friends, there is a lot of anxiety around banter, around communication, oral communication. If you can, it would be best to favor written communication. Then we have endings and beginnings. Endings and beginning. Sorry, I'm sorry. My nose brought me to the first card again. The domain concerned with work and your livelihood. Interestingly, Libra, because I see this card right on that domain, on that house, it has to do with love in some way, some kind of an emotional tie. You may have a business with a partner who you have paired up with. You may have some form of an idea, project to go toward that person and suggest that you open a business together. But your business and livelihood is, and it's suggested to you by the cards, that if you have some sort of doubt as to whether to go into business with someone who you do have emotional feelings for, dispel those doubts, get rid of them, because that will work out whether you're together or you're not together. Now, in the area of your security, your sense of security, look, I couldn't get better than this. There is the anchor here. The anchor talks about balance. The anchor talks about security and safety at sea when the ocean is rough. This is an area, your sense of security, that will be guarded by those around you as well, for you. Then we have the domain that talks about guidance. Here, we talked about surprises, right? Well, guidance, where you get guidance from, will always represent a surprise, because you're moving along your little life, I'm sorry about that. You're moving along your little path. We are so small, and if we think of the universe anyway, you're moving along your path, and you're all of a sudden, you know how that happens when you stop, you look because you hear a word, you smell something, you see something, and you get a clue, a sign from the universe. Well, this is the way the surprises come to you. It is always a very, very pleasant surprise when you get guidance, and it's always unexpected. Then the area of the spread that talks about the home. Now see, this is interesting because these two cards are mirroring each other. It has to do with your finances. Now, again, I'm not saying this is a general reading, Libra, and once again, go look at your not only your sun, but your moon and rising. It's a general reading. You might want to think, if there's anything here that sounds clear and hits home, you might want to get a private reading. But these two cards are mirroring each other. And this is, again, stressing the fact that there's a business, there is an enterprise, there is an endeavor, there is interest in a business or some kind of livelihood with a loved one, with a family member perhaps, even. Now, your public life, Libra, it's as if these cards are shouting out and they're saying, Libra, come on, get out of your home. It's high time that you come and tell us, show us who you are. Publicly, literally publicly. Now, I don't mean to take a megaphone, get on your soapbox and start shouting, but advertising is the watchword here. Getting yourself out and using channels that you wouldn't have in the past, you wouldn't have done. Then we move to the obstacles. Now there's a difficult and interesting web that we weave, Libra. Matters of the heart has fallen on the obstacles domain, on the obstacle house, and that means that you will be contending, and it's likely with the institution card, around matters of the heart. A lot of you may be splitting up, getting together, maybe tying a contractual bond in some way, having to do with business. Then the decision-making process, decisions made in the year 2023, this is the difficulty for you. This is by far the most difficult thing for you. They will all be very, let's say, slippery. They'll be slippery, they'll be difficult for you. You won't be able to see all of the facets of their decision. Well, if I do this, what will happen? It's not very clear, that road. Again, I invite you to come in for a private reading, because these are the kind of things a card reading will be able to answer. Then the area of the spread that concerns nuisances and small problems like flat tires, for example. There's going to be a lot of talk about that. A lot of talk about, for example, how to better streamline the work flow in your business or on your job, how to better get from A to B and get products out. There'll be a lot of talk about those issues that you have on your work, during your work life, in your work life, and in your private life, your emotional life, that just don't jive, that just aren't right. Your companion keeps putting the lemons without covering the lemons, and the lemons then go bad, and then, and this has been said over and over, these are stupid little things, but there's a change that you can make. There's going to be talk about that. Then the area that has to do with something hidden. Interesting. Now, something hidden refers to what we mentioned in the beginning, a family of light. And it's interesting, Libra, that family came out, because we did see there's going to be changes. There are changes going to be made in your family, or those that you consider your family. So something hidden has to do with that area, and it will be coming up, but not hidden in terms of, oh, he has a lover, she has a lover, or they have a lover. No, it has to do with the spiritual side to a relationship, both in business and both in, all areas of your life. But in the sense that you will start to ask yourself, do I truly want to go forward with this enterprise, with this person? Do I truly love what I'm creating? Do I truly love this person? Would I do anything for them? So these are a lot of big questions that you ask yourself in the year 2023. Then there is the domain, the house of matters of communication. And the matters of communication have to do with the home. They have to do with the home, written communication. Okay, we did speak of oral communication that was characterized by anxiety, but here we talk of written communication that has to do with the home. Again, I'm pointing, it could be anything to do, these cards are mirroring each other. The institutions, there might be some changes, selling property, dividing up property. Then we have the area of the spread that concerns a male influence. And it's very clear for me that a male influence is a source of support, a sense of security. And the first card that entered the spread, the incoming card, was that at the very beginning of the year, you'll recall. And the last card here represents female influences. Now, in a general reading like this, there's so many different levels, but I'm going to throw out at you the first that comes, that is available, and that is written communication involving a woman, because of a woman. Now, again, there may be property inheritances that are divided. There may be a divorce. There may be a marriage. So there are a lot of things that you're going to be very, very busy, Libra. Very busy in terms of setting your house and family in order, and using light as the watchword, as to guide you. Now, I have the runes that I'm going to use to crown the reading, and let's see what they say. Let's see what they say. We do have something here. They're all Merkstave. Let's see. No. Oh, yes. All right, so we've got here Urus. Now, Urus is a rune that's always so difficult to plumb, but Urus usually generally talks of force, energy, okay? It's a healing rune, a recovery from illness, okay? This is Merkstave now. There are strong emotions. I'm reading this as being very strong emotion. There is healing that will occur in the year 2023, and it will be around the relationship and emotional feelings, emotions. I have Keenats. Keenats is Merkstave here, and Keenats generally talks again about strength, power, opening up and starting something new. Here, this talks about closing something, ending something, putting a different spin on something. Fehu, romantic fulfillment. Now, there is this, you think, well, what is she saying? Am I going to get divorced or what? But there is another party I see here as well. There is a change. There's a very fluid change, and you need to be open to what's coming. Fehu does talk about gain, all right, financial gain, and I'm seeing that here. So we love success. It talks of power, great power, victory. And all in all, I really do see you coming up ahead, Libra, in the year 2023. And one of the signs of the zodiac this year who has an enormous amount of potential for long-lasting happiness. Here we've got, interestingly, we talked about this, the relationship that was closing, ending, maybe, who knows, or mending. And here we've got Manats, and Manats talks about interdependence. There's a time for new plans. These are two people. If you could take a look at that, it looks like two people facing each other. It's a relationships, interactions, and that is the watchword for the year 2023. Libra, I do hope this was of help to you. Enjoy your holidays and enjoy the new year. Bye-bye. Namaste. See you soon again.